President Trump says America is moving forward with or without a vaccine for coronavirus. By the end of this weekend, nearly every state will have loosened some sort of restrictions.
The president promises researchers are working at warp speed to find a vaccine. But in the meantime, he said, quote, "You fight through it." The number of Americans who lost that fight is now more than 87,000. And the U.S. added more than 25,000 new cases in the last 24 hours.
More than 10 million Americans have now been tested. But tonight, the accuracy of one popular test used by the White House is coming into question. Now, all of this as House Democrats move forward with a vote on a new stimulus package.
KCAL 9 political reporter Randy Page tracking all the big headlines out of Washington and joins us with the latest developments. Randy?
Hi, we'll get to that development involving the $3 trillion piece of Democratic legislation in a moment. But first, as you suggested, a question. That is it safe for the country to reopen before a vaccine is found? Well, today, the president answered that question in no uncertain terms.
I just want to make something clear. It's very important. Vaccine or no vaccine, we're back. And we're starting the process.
It's crystal clear. The president isn't waiting for a vaccine, even though a vaccine is what this news conference was all about.
It's called Operation Warp Speed. That means big and it means fast.
With the race for a vaccine underway around the world, the president predicted the U.S. would make one available at lightning speed by the end of the year. Rick Bright, the administration's top vaccine expert who was pushed out of his job last month, said yesterday everything must happen perfectly to meet the president's timeline.
We've never seen everything go perfectly.
But the president's new man in charge of Operation Warp Speed, Chief Advisor Moncef Slaoui, said experts have already identified 14 promising candidates.
These data made me feel even more confident that we will be able to deliver a few 100 million doses of vaccine by the end of 2020.
Today, Britain's most prestigious medical journal, The Lancet, offered this scathing editorial, which says in part, "The administration is obsessed with magic bullets, vaccines, new medicines, or a hope that the virus will simply disappear. But only a steadfast reliance on basic public health principles like test, trace, and isolate will see the emergency brought to an end, and this requires an effective national public health agency. The CDC needs a director who can provide leadership without the threat of being silenced." Today, the School Superintendents Association criticized this simple set of guidelines released by the CDC last night and said they'd use the more thorough guidelines the White House refused to release.
The document that the CDC released yesterday is underwhelming. It doesn't provide the specific guidance that the document that was leaked a couple of weeks ago provided.
At the other end of Constitution Avenue, a historic vote as House Democrats pass a resolution authorizing remote voting so members can stay in their home districts and vote for a massive tax and spending bill that would, among other things, send money to the states dealing with crushing costs related to the coronavirus.
The federal government has a moral, an ethical, and economic obligation to help support the states. After all, what is the point of government if not to protect people, their safety, and the well-being of citizens?
Tonight, the House passed the $3 trillion bill remotely. Now it heads for the Senate, where Senate Leader Mitch McConnell says it doesn't stand a chance. And President Trump calls it
DOA, dead on arrival.